Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a get ready with me with all of the products that I recently showed in my top 15 summer darlings. I did kind of a wrap up of all of the new products that I tested out over the summer because life just got a little crazy busy here and I didn't get around to doing my every other month darlings and duds. So watch that video, I'll link it down below. But today I'm going to be showing you all of those or most of those products in action. We're gonna be getting ready. I have a lunch to go to today. So if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Now let's get started. First things first, a little eyeshadow primer. Nothing new here. This is just the Nars Smudge Proof Eye Base. And I'm going to blend this in most of the way and then add a little bit of MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot over the top just to give me a little bit of coverage on my eyelids. For foundation, it's no surprise. I have talked about this one before and shown it to you. This is the new Smashbox Always On Skin Balancing Foundation, and I've been mixing two shades depending on my suntan level. So this is L20O and then this is F10W. So between the two of these, I should be good year round. And I should mention, because many of you ask what is on my face right now, how I already have all this glow. It's my normal skincare plus the Elta MD. This is the tinted UV clear. I have just been loving this sunscreen all summer long. And then I've been adding 2 drops of the Drunk Elephant De Bronzy drops. And that is how I have some glow, but it doesn't make my face oily. So let's go ahead and apply some foundation. I just feel like this foundation, it's long wearing, it doesn't highlight texture on the face, and it really provides, I would say, very close to full coverage in my opinion, but it doesn't look heavy or cakey on the skin, and it is truly skin balancing. I have more combination oily skin, but I have seen ladies with drier skin love this as well. So just has some really great ingredients. And just a side note, I used the BK Beauty 101 travel size brush. I just got a fresh one of these because I'm traveling soon. Love that brush. Okay, let's go back to the eyes. And for today, I took inspiration from this shirt and chose to use the Alter Ego Secura palette. Not only is the outer packaging just gorgeous, but look at the shades inside. Does it remind you of anything? Yes, the Natasha Denona Retro Glam palette. Alter Ego is very careful not to ever call anything a dupe, but the color story, very similar. And I love how they laid this out. I think it's a little more user-friendly because they kind of group the colors together. It's easier to kind of stay in the greens or the pinks or the browns, easier to see combinations. So we're going to use this palette today. Okay, but first I need a cream color for the brow bone highlight shade. I'm going in to the Huda Beauty Browns palette, and this is actually still available using the Sigma E50, putting that shade right under the brows. All right, let's go to the Secura palette. I'm using the rougher number 15 brush. We're going to start off with this pink shade, and I do show you swatches of this palette in the Darlings End of Summer Darlings video, so check that out if you're curious. And then I'm going to go down to the shade right below it. These do all have names, but you know, sometimes I'm just in a hurry and to take out my glasses or find the right light to read them, it's a little too much sometimes. So I just figure you're good with me showing you which color from the palette. I'm just working that in the outer corner, same brush. You can see, even though these look pretty pink in the palette, there's just some neutral tones, undertones to them that I think make them work really well with the greens or the browns in this palette. And today, if you watch that video, you know we're going to be going into some of the greens. It's going to be fun. Next, we're going to go in with this shade, and I love that somehow they figured out the way to do kind of like that cream to powder formula like Natasha Denona does in a lot of her palettes. I'm using my finger though, because I feel like that is the best way to get the most pigment from this shadow. Okay, then we're going to work our way in with a gradation of greens. I'm going to first start off with this shade, and this shade actually has quite a lot of blue tones to it. So I'm going to put this across kind of the center third. And I get asked a lot of times why I layer shadows on top of each other. And it's just kind of like a painting. I mean, you can paint just a straight one solid color yellow, but if you add kind of orange to it and maybe a lighter shade, it gives it, you know, more depth. So that's what I'm looking for. And sometimes I just want a different tone. So like this one, I don't want it to be too cool. So I will kind of warm it up just a little bit with a little tiny bit of this shade. And this also will help kind of the transition between that outer corner color. This green just has a little bit of some kind of olive tones to it, which I really love. And then what I did over here is I just added a combination of a little of this pink and this green just through the crease, just to kind of blend or soften the edge, I should say, of the shimmer shade. I don't like to bring a shimmer shade through the crease too often because it can highlight texture and just, I don't think it wears as well through the day. All right, on the inner corner, look at this gorgeous shade. We're gonna use this. And I actually think I like the tone of this one in the palette better than the one in the Natasha Denona palette. I just love how this looks on the inner corner, and you can even amp this up even more with a setting spray. But I think I'm gonna leave it just like that. And the lower lash line, I'm gonna use the Morphe M432 and that dark green kind of creamy shade, and use this kind of as a base. And then I will wipe off that brush and go in with a little bit of this shade. Just add a little bit of light reflection down here. And then why not? Let's go in with the shade right next to it. I'm gonna add a little bit of liquid liner. This is the CoverGirl Exhibitionist Lash Enhancing Liquid Eyeliner. It has a long felt tip. This is actually surprisingly pretty good. It doesn't have a roller ball in it, but it is a very, very black liquid liner and it is matte. So I do love that. Cleaning up under the eyes with a little almond oil. And I mean, I have a little bit of foundation, but I really have very little, if any, fallout from those shadows. So very impressive. All right, so I've had a few interruptions, but let's get back to it. I forgot to add anything to my lips. I'm just using the City Lips gloss in Los Angeles. Really need something nice and moisturizing on there. Okay, let's finish up the under eyes with one of my favorite concealers this summer, and that is the Natasha Denona High Glam Concealer. And I'm going to use, I think, shade P3 today. I know that looks like a lot, but it was just one dip in for both eyes, and I'm just spreading that out. Use the Rare Beauty concealer brush. I'm gonna first just blend out this outer edge, and then we'll let that inner corner sit for a minute. Nothing new here. The Nars Laguna bronzer. This is shade 2, using the BK Beauty 107 brush. And as you can see, I haven't completely blended in my concealer. Don't think I lost my mind. I feel like I have sometimes, but I think I still have some of my wits about me, hopefully. And now I'll just finish blending in that concealer. Okay, this is one of those mornings. I have been in and out of the room, letting the dog out, all kinds of things, and I stopped recording as I was telling you about my blush and applying the blush. So let me catch up real quick. So this is the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Blush in the shade Rosé Brunch, and I just applied it with the number 4 rougher brush. I love how these blushes just kind of leave a little bit more of a matte finish than the one in the palette. I showed the palette blushes from her that are the glowy ones. This is just one that I've been reaching more in the summer months, but love how those blend into the skin. And then I was beginning to apply the Bare Minerals. These are called highlighting blushes. These weren't in my top favorites just because I felt like the name of them was a little misleading. You're not really going to get much blush out of this. As a highlighter, they're pretty good, but I don't feel like it's necessarily anything earth-shattering or that different from other highlighters that I have, but it is a really nice, smooth formula. No chunky glitter particles. Okay, now we need some powder. And I said this in that video, but the Jaclyn Hill powders, this quad, I don't have time to get into drama. So one of you said that there's big drama about her and all that. I don't even have time to even know what the drama is. So I just like the formulation and the colors of this. So I've been using a combination of these two, and I'm using the rougher number 18 brush. And I first set the under eye. So this gives a little added coverage, and it's not a drying formula at all. Do you see that? And then I just go over the entire face, but also the under eye area with a finishing powder. And I just feel like it was really worked well. So if you don't like her, don't want to buy her brand, the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finishing Powders are similar. Now I'm going to go in with a little bit of Makeup Forever finishing powder, and I'm going to use first just a powder puff. This is the Laura Mercier one, but you can use, I use ones from Amazon all the time. This one just happens to be clean. And then under the eyes, a trick is you can use a slightly damp beauty blender or sponge and just go over the under eye area with that. And the slight dampness helps it not to look too powdery or be too dry. I think my sponge is a little bit drier than usual. Like I said, it's been a morning here, so we're just trying to finish up this face of makeup. All right, we need some brows, and you know, brows aren't my favorite, but I have really enjoyed the Your Best Friend brow pencil this year, so I'm just gonna fill in my brows with that. I'm going to use the Merit Beauty Brow Pomade. This is the blonde shade. All right, let's curl the lashes. I have a brand new tube of the Dior 3D Maximizer. This is the Lash Serum and Primer. So I am going to apply this, and then we'll apply mascara. And I'm so excited to have a fresh tube of the Ciate London Triple Shot XXL Mascara. They sent me my first tube of this, and I have since repurchased. And now I am opening up a new tube because this is also something I'm planning to take on my trip because it does not smudge on me at all. And it's super long wearing. Nice, thin, skinny brush. Also helps me not get quite so messy. All right, I just wiped off that gloss. My lips are nice and hydrated and of course plumper, right? I'm gonna use my MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot around the edge. This just helps even out my lip line, and also I feel like it helps keep my lipstick and lip liner and lip gloss from bleeding. All right, I'm going to touch up the inner corner highlight with a little bit of that shimmer shade. I always do this after I've done concealer. All right, we're first going to start off with a boring old lip liner. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk 2 Medium. By boring, I just mean a kind of muted rose shade. Now for my lipstick, I am going to have a little fun. I'm going with kind of the darker pink in my top as my inspiration. So I'm using the BK Beauty Luxe lipstick, and this is the shade Beauty. Okay, if you saw my swatch video, you know what's to come. Woo, so bright. And you can see I pushed that kind of over the top of that lip liner. So the lip liner just helps kind of neutralize the edge of the lips a little bit. All right, and then of course I could leave it like this, but I'm gonna add a little bit of a gloss to tone it down just slightly. I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills lip gloss, and this is the shade Pink Ginger. That just makes it a little less scary. Okay, now that I've fixed my hair, put in my earrings, I do love the bright pink lip, but I want to show you an option that's a little more neutral. So after blotting off that lip color, I just touched up a little bit of the lip liner. Now I'm going to go in with the shade Grace from BK Beauty. And you can see it just helps kind of shift the focus back to the eyes because we have some good color going on there. I will top it with just a tiny little bit of gloss. All right, now here's our finished look. And I know this is kind of still summery, springy, but I just wanted to do kind of one final wrap up to the end of the summer look with all of my favorites from the summer, because now we're shifting into fall and I know there's lots of new products I'm testing and will be testing out. So I hope that you enjoyed this look. As always, check the description box down below for links and a list of everything I used today. I will also link the video on the Darlings and Duds so you can get more information on the products I used today in case you missed it. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.